I married the ghost from the basement of my new house.
Are you fucking kidding me?
My father's voice roared angrily across the living room. He was fuming, out of breath, and completely livid.
I paid you through a damn aerospace degree, and you go into the fucking showbiz?
I didn't say anything in reply. I knew completely well that with people like him, there was no argument in the world, no matter how logical or well constructed, that could ever change his views or even nudge him to compromise an inch.
For 21 fucking years I invested in you. 21 fucking years. Do you know how much damn time and money I spent?
My chest and my throat were burning with an intense discomfort, as they always did whenever my father verbally took out his anger on me, the only child in the Lee family.
You know what, Kevin?
I didn't reply.
Answer me when I talk to you.
My father roared, his wrinkly, mustache face contorting with rage, spit flying across the mahogany dining table. What? I replied, darkly, lowly, and monotonously.
You are not my son anymore.
He growled. My brow furrowed. Huh? I said what I said, Kevin!
I said what I said, Kevin.
Now, get the fuck out of my house!
Now get the fuck out of my house.
He yelled angrily as he stood up and pointed towards the front door with an outstretched finger, shaking with rage. I shook my head in confusion, trying to process the audacity and the suddenness of his request. Wait, Dad, wait. Can we talk about this? There's nothing to talk about, Kevin Lee. Now you just do what I tell you for once, you failure.
There's nothing to talk about, Kevin. Just do what I tell you for once, you failure.
Whenever my father made a command like this, it was meant to be interpreted as an executive order, a decree, an ultimatum from the emperor of the household. My mother just sat back quietly, afraid and unwilling to stand up for me, her own son. As I hastily threw my essentials into a suitcase and I stormed out of the door, I shouted to them,
"If I ever get rich and famous, you can be damn sure I never knew you! Never!"
Yes, I must admit and I must confess, I had never had the best relationship with my father, so from an early age, I had made up plans of what to do if worse came to worse, like they did today. Most of my friends had gone their separate ways for college, and they were now starting careers in different states, so that was definitely out of the question. Frustrated, I pulled up my phone and I scrolled through my contacts as I mindlessly, aimlessly, and without any real destination walked down the sidewalk of the little suburban town I had grown up in. Alright, let's double check. Ricky? Nope. He just started to work in Utah, remember? And Justin? Nope. Unless you wanna go all the way to Texas. Let's see, what other names are there? Julia, James, Kayla, Fred. Yes, I have a lot of contacts. I just kept scrolling and scrolling, trying to determine who I should call. Suddenly, I got a text from Tony, my old childhood friend. He said to me, "Hey Kevin, you wanna hang? I'm going to see that new movie with my girl and her friends tonight." And to that I reply, "Sup Tony, that would be great, but my dad decided to be a dick and kick me out of the house, so maybe another time. Like, when I have a place of my own." winky face and smiley face with a little drop of sweat on the forehead. To that, Tony replied, hey, no worries, bro. Need a place to stay for now? I got a guest room. It's dusty as shit, but it'll do in a pinch. My heart swelled with joy. Of course, bro. Thanks a lot. I appreciate you. Hey, it's okay, Kevin. No worries, man. If you still wanna hang with me and the girls, you can. Sydney's got some friends you might wanna meet. Winky face. I know you have been single for a bit now. He really knows me well because I grinned. Oh, for sure, bro. Do you think you could pick me up at the park? And to that he replied, hey, for sure. And yes, I only sat on a bench in the neighborhood park for about 5 minutes before Tony arrived in his car. It was a red Dodge Charger, skidded to a stop mere inches from the curb. He honked the horn 3 times and then rolled down the window and shouted, "Hey, Kev, get your ass in here." I stood up and smiled. Long time no see, Tony. How you been? Same shit, man, you know. Still with Sydney, and I just got a dog. No way, bro, a dog? Wow, that's great! What breed is he? A Shar-Pei. Sid thought it was the cutest motherfucking thing on the planet when we saw him, and she saw it, or in this case, saw him at the shelter. It was normally a 5-minute drive to Tony's house from the park, but it only took 2 of this time because of Tony's insane driving skills. And I say that in quotation marks because it's more like recklessness. I'm surprised he didn't have more speeding tickets than he already did. When we arrived, Tony showed me to the guest room. And just as he promised, it indeed was as dusty as shit. Layers of dust about an inch thick covered the lone wooden bookshelf. The only piece of furniture in the room aside from a lamp and a twin-sized bed. Home sweet home, Tony joked. But for real, you can stay as long as it takes you to find a new place. He added. Oh, bro, I appreciate it. I really do, bro. I appreciate it. And I said to that with the utmost, greatest sincerity in my heart. Hey man, no worries. That's what bros are for. He replied, and then he added, hey, still wanna hang with the girls tonight? To that I grinned and said, hell yeah, bro! At 7 p.m., Tony and I picked up his girlfriend, Sydney, and her friends. They were all giddy and piled into the car like a bunch of drunk yards. Tony and Sydney shared a sloppy kiss before he drove us off to the theater, all of us talking and laughing like maniacs. The movie was Halloween themed, and all of us screamed our lungs out at each jump scare. Afterwards, we got dinner at an expensive restaurant and ice cream for dessert. Every single one of Sydney's friends had introduced herself to me when Tony first picked them up, but I only really talked to one girl the most. Angela. Yeah, Angela. 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 I had tried to keep my recent family situation out of the conversation as best as I could, but eventually it slipped in.
So, where are you from? You're too handsome to be from town.
She commented flirtingly, and I couldn't stop myself, and I said, it's complicated. I actually grew up here, but my parents just kicked me out this morning, so I guess that makes me homeless? I chuckled nervously. She just giggled softly.
You're so funny, Kevin. So, where are you staying for now?
My boy Tony came in clutch. I practically begged him to squat at his house for $100 a day. I replied, and I joked, of course. Tony butted in and added, "Hey now, I'm way nicer than that. He can stay till he finds a studio or something."
Oh, what a nice guy.
Cooed Sydney.
That's my boyfriend. Are you jealous?
She added, addressing her girlfriends. Angela's face became more serious.
I know a place for really cheap. My parents are in real estate.
She said. My eyes widened and I said, "Really? Please tell me more. I want to know more." She gave me her dad's number, not before warning me that there was something sus about the place, despite it being so cheap.
Be careful, Kevin.
She said. Back in Tony's guest room, I called Angela's dad. He explained to me that it was a luxurious 3-story mansion with a basement. I thought it sounded too good to be true when I asked for an elaboration. He told me more about the basement. So apparently the previous owners, a large family of millionaires, had sold the house out of fear for their children's safety. A notion summarized in a note that said, "Possible paranormal activity observed in the basement," at the bottom of the ad. They had been really quick to leave, and given how superstitious some people are, it wasn't entirely unreasonable. After very little negotiation, the 21-acre oceanfront property was sold to me for a mere $10,000. That's how little demand it had because of its alleged basement hunting. Reading more into the specifications, I learned that it had been built in 1895 and that no one who owned the house had stayed there for more than 6 months at a time. Weird. Maybe there's some fire under the smoke after all, I thought, but I had little to lose, to be honest. Basically nothing. With no girlfriend, very few people I talked to anymore, and barely enough money to afford the property, I decided that it was my only option for the near future. And looking back, I have zero regrets. I'm sure the real estate agent who gave me a tour of the property was quite amused when he saw a fresh college graduate with not even a car to his name purchase one of the biggest, most aesthetic Victorian-style mansions he had ever seen. "Oh man, I wish I got so lucky at your age," he remarked. The exterior of the house looked like it would belong to one of those Pinterest pages for beautiful oceanfront mansions. I could not believe my eyes when I saw the grand stone arches in front of towering wooden double doors. I literally had to touch the walls with my own hands for it to register. Everything about the place, from the first floor to the third floor, was immaculate. beautiful, and perfect. Nothing seemed wrong or out of the ordinary, and absolutely nothing that would spur a rich tycoon into hastily and urgently selling the place for a mere pocket change after mere months. That seemed like a big deal, until we got to the basement. Now, here's the caveat with this place, Kevin. If something seems too good to be true, it probably is, you know, said the agent, named Jarrett. He walked me to the grand staircase which led down into the basement. No doors, no physical barriers whatsoever separating the rest of the house from whatever paranormal entities or entity that might inhabit the basement. Well, welcome to the basement, Kevin. After you. He gestured with his hand. I smirked at him and I asked him, hey, what happened? Are you scared? He just raised an eyebrow and he grinned, jokingly said, ladies first. Despite our light-hearted jesting, a cold chill ran down my spine as I took the first step into the descent. The corridor was at least 10 feet wide and 15 height, and it excavated deep below ground level like the maw of a giant predatory worm. The steps were carpeted hardwood, and the rails were ornately carved and polished. Still, the aesthetic impeccability of its appearance only seemed to mask something ominous beneath. And yes, before I continue, it was actually around, what do you think, 3.4 meters wide and I don't know, 4.57 meters height. That was for the non-Americans listening or watching. I reached for the light switch and flicked it on. We descended to the bottom. The atmosphere became heavier, more stifling, more ominous, more intense, the pressure building to a point of no return. Also, you know that creepy, unsettling feeling of being watched? Jared must have felt it too, as his normally talkative and explanatory self had gone dead silent and his face was slightly strained. However, the basement itself, walls, floors, and ceilings looked totally clean, tidy, and well-maintained, as if someone had been taking meticulous care of the place. The wooden banisters were impeccably polished, the carpet was spotless, and the century-old wallpaper, although I was sure it had been replaced at some point, looked completely brand new. Oh wow, someone's been taking really good care of this place, I commented with a look of awe breaking the silence. Immediately, the hostile aura that I had felt throughout the entire descent down the stairs seemed to lift itself off my neck and shoulders, even if only partially. Yeah, Jared just whispered in reply. I could tell that he was nervous and unsettled, but for what? A large chunk of that feeling had disappeared from me. I suppose it could be different for him. A grin of admiration crossed my face as I hurried eagerly up the first door and I asked, hey Jared, what room is this? He stood at least 10 feet back, which is basically, 3 meters away from me. All the rooms are empty down here, except for the boiler room. You can explore them if you would like to, but there is really not much to see here, he said nonchalantly. I opened the door. The knob turned around soundlessly, and the door opened just as quietly. I turned on the light and I saw that it was indeed an empty room, just as clean and spotless as everything else that we had seen in the rest of the house. After exploring the other rooms, I concluded that there was really nothing wrong with the place, the basement or otherwise. The only thing remotely out of the ordinary was that particularly strange feeling that I had felt during my first trip down the basement stairs, but that had been only temporary and I never felt it since. I told Jared I liked the place and I confirmed that I would indeed be moving in. Jared, on the other hand, looked like he wanted and needed to vomit. Hey, Jared, are you okay? You okay? I asked, concerned. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine, yeah, I'm fine. I just have a chronic thing where I when I get nervous, I just have a chronic thing where I get nauseous when I'm underground. He replied with a hint of strain in his voice. I pursed my lips with empathy. Oh my god, Jared, sorry about that. I didn't know. No, you're good. You're good. It's not that serious. Just annoying sometimes, he said. One thing I should mention is that I had been wearing a backpack since the beginning of the house tour, with my water bottle in the pouch of the outside. When I reached around to grab it, I noticed that it was missing. It was not there. It was gone. Oh, I didn't think of it much. I probably left it upstairs or something.
Okay, Kevin, next thing I know is your initial over here. Also, I need your signature over here. And your initial over here. Thank you. Your initials here. And finally, your signature here. Done. It's yours.
After finishing all the paperwork, I called Tony to help me move into my new house. When he first drove up to the mansion, his eyes bulged out of his head, and I thought he was going to have an orgasm right then and there. Oh my fucking god! Talk about scoring, man! Only 10k for this? He exclaimed, incredulous. And to that, I grinned smugly and I said to him, "Oh yeah, bro, sometimes you just luck out." Bro, imagine the parties we could throw here! Imagine how many people we could host! Oh my god! Oh no, the parties, the drinks, the dance, He said dreamily. I raised a hand to stop him and I chuckled. Hey, buddy, first things first. Let's get me moved in, okay? The moved in process was quick, given that there was only my stuff and way more room to put it than we knew what to do with it. I claimed a bedroom on the second floor and I decorated it appropriately. The first night I slept in the mansion, I had a dream. I was a young woman running through a field which I determined to be the backyard of this very house. From my perspective, looking at a young man driving away in his car with another girl in the passenger seat, I felt emotions too, of heartbreak, of jealousy, of an overwhelming and crushing loneliness that sucked the joy out of everything I did. It was a stifling, ominous application of pressure, not like the feeling I had felt on my first descent down the stairs. I woke up. It was dark, and when I checked the time on my phone, it read 4:13 a.m. Oh my god. My mouth was dry, so I felt around for my water bottle, but I failed to find it again. Oh my, looks like I have to go downstairs to the kitchen, I thought. I remember where Tony and I had left a pack of water bottles. I stepped onto the cool hardwood floor on the first level. I stopped, slowing down my breathing so I could hear more clearly. I thought I heard a voice. Yeah, I could hear a voice.
Quand je vous aimerai, ma foi, je ne sais pas, peut-être jamais, peut-être demain, mais pas aujourd'hui, c'est certain.
It was a woman's voice singing, hauntingly beautiful, a chorus in a song I didn't recognize, and seemed to be floating from somewhere far away in the house. I was still thirsty as fuck, though, so I grabbed a bottle of water and I downed half of it before settling it on the counter, and I decided to investigate the source of the voice. Needless to say, I was completely awake. I covered one ear, then the other, and I determined that the sound was coming from the west direction, the direction of the basement. I shuddered slightly, remembering the previous owner's warnings and the real estate agent's nervousness. But I thought, fuck it, and I proceeded. I crept through the wide open hallway, the voice getting louder and clearer as I did so. I could make out the song a little more clearly now. It sounded like a classical opera song, touched with a sense of sadness and longing, yet a strong, steadfast hope. I turned on the light for the basement stairs, but the voice didn't seem to be affected. In fact, I could see that a light was in one of the basement rooms, for which the door was slightly ajar. Huh? Oh my. What? I swear all the basement doors were closed when I last saw them, and I definitely turned the lights off. Oh man, no. Hell no! Was Tony messing with me on movie day? No, it can't be. I literally checked before bed yesterday evening. Nobody else was down here since then, right? Right? Let's take a look. Then, why was one of the doors open and the light on? I crept closer to the open door from which that hauntingly beautiful voice continued to sing. I raised my fist to knock, but stopped.
Whoa. Manners, Kevin. Don't interrupt someone in the middle of a performance, even if it's potentially some voice mimicking cryptid that wants to lure me into an ambush.
Oh my, I swear, my mind jumps to the worst things sometimes. Finally, the song reached its climax. Then, the voice slowly faded away in one long, sustained note. After a few seconds, I nervously thought of something. I still had no idea who or what was on the other side of the door, so feeling stupid, I started clapping my hands in applause. Yeah, I clapped for a few seconds before it stopped. Now, there was only silence. Dead silence. The staircase light was still on, and the room light was still on. Oh my, bravo! 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 Taking a deep breath, I knock on the door 3 times. After a short pause, the door slowly swung open to reveal a young woman about my age, with wavy, somber hair and soft, pretty, yet defined facial features. Her eyes were a light amber and seemed to stare straight into my soul. Wearing a form-fitting, floral print dress, she was quite tall for a woman, almost as tall as my 5'10" self. Hi. I breathed nervously.
Hey, you can see me?
She seemed surprised but uncertain at the same time. Oh, of course I can. Think you're a ghost or something? I chuckled. A guilty as charged expression crossed her face.
Actually, I am. And it's cool that you can hear me too.
She replied. I was, of course, puzzled. Wait. What? You're a literal ghost? As in, you died but you're actually not dead? She smiled sadly and she said,
Yes, I'm glad you can see and hear me though. Not many people can, especially not both at once.
Well, glad I could. So, what's your name? I'm Kevin, by the way, I replied awkwardly.
Catherine, but you can call me Katie.
She replied. And to that I said, Oh, nice to meet you, Katie, I said, extending a hand. She met my hand with hers.
Nice to meet you too, Kev. Oh.
Ah!
No way.
Ah! She screamed and jumped back as soon as her hand touched mine. She exclaimed with excitement. I stepped into the room, a concerned expression on my face. Katie, wait. Hey, Katie, what's wrong? She looked at me with pure awe and she said,
You touched me?
She said, and then looked at her own hand with wonder. Puzzled, I asked, and?
I never been able to touch living persons ever since I became a ghost. I can touch the material possession, sure.
She continued to explain. She said, pointing to a water bottle on the floor in the middle of the room. My eyes narrowed. Hey, that's my water bottle, I said, and in my mind I was saying, so that's where it went. Katie smiled coyly and looked at the floor with a guilty expression.
Sorry, I did that so you would notice. That day you were exploring the payments with the real estate agents. I stole your water bottle and hid it.
She said, and then she continued by saying this.
I do it to everyone who moves here. If I move something around, knock something over, or hide something, then people will come looking. Then I finally have company, and I won't be as lonely anymore.
I nodded, and I talked to her, and I said, I see, but why are you lonely? You seem like a cool ghost, you have a beautiful singing voice, you are pretty as hell, and from the conditions of the house, you seem to have all the cleaning stuff in order. I said and I asked. She blushed and replied,
Thanks. But the problem is that I can't see or hear or interact with living people. As it's not until you came around. And there's other gods out there, but they are spread far and wide across the countries, and we are not really allowed to leave our places, per se.
I nodded. Then I asked, Damn! So, how long have you been trapped here?
10 years. I died in 2013, and my ghost had been trapped in the basement ever since.
She replied. I proceeded to talk. I started, watching a look of pure pain and distress begin to cross her face. But I stopped. Well, Katie, if you don't mind me asking, I was wondering, never mind. No, never mind. If you don't want to talk about it, that's okay.
Not yet. Maybe, if I get to know you better.
She replied, relieved. If? I teased her and I said, oh no, make that when. I would really like to talk to you. She grinned at me and said,
Night drive. Because that was all I say right before they break your heart.
I wouldn't know. I've always been the one with the broken heart, I replied.
Then we're the same.
She said with a chuckle. Night after night, I visited Katie in the basement. I would change my entire sleep schedule just to spend more time with her. We would talk for hours and play games, including board games and video games, for which I actually bought her a gaming laptop with the money I had earned from my new job as an entertainer. Coincidentally, Katie had known a lot of the right people in the area while she was alive, and she pointed me to the ones I could talk to in order to find work. She was always there for me, and I was always there for her. It was like we never grew tired of each other. I never failed to be impressed by the fact that she never needed to eat or drink or do any human stuff in ghost form, and she never failed to impress herself by the fact that I was the only human she had met who could fully interact with her. I could only see Katie from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. Anytime before or after that, she wasn't there. She explained to me that she was under a supernatural curfew, so to speak. She also couldn't leave the basement, presumably by the conditions of the same curfew. We both saw something special in each other, and with our shockingly similar dating histories, with the walls of our usual extreme guardedness shattered every second, we were around each other, with our similar dreams of making it big in the showbiz, with our spotty relationships with our parents, by which I mean shitty. It became clear that we were like twin flames. One night, Katie sat in the middle of the room, meeting my eyes as I entered.
For some reason, sometimes there were some gusts of wind that oddly enough affected our voices, Katie's and mine. She was too familiar with this, and for every gust of wind that happened, her voice was affected.
Oh, there's more wine than usual. I guess you feel it too, right? It affects my voice sometimes. I can still sing though.
Oh my, wow, you're right. How can there be wind here? We're in a closed space. We're in a closed room.
I know it. I sound different. Anyway, Kevin, there's some time I need to tell you.
she said with a somber tone. I sat down, gazing into her pretty amber eyes. I asked softly, what is it, Cathy? What is it?
Tonight is the 10th anniversary of my death. I thought it was about time you should know.
I nodded and I said, I'm listening. She took a deep breath, and I could tell that it was hard for her to search and relive those memories.
I committed suicide.
Oh my. I took a deep breath, and all that I could muster and say was, I'm so sorry. You didn't deserve whoever or whatever pushed you to that.
My stepfather abused me for as long as I can remember. Before 12, it wasn't just your standard discipline stuff. You know, being grounded and all that. The worst physical thing he did was spank us. But me and my brother.
She said, her voice quivering. I nodded in acknowledgement.
But after 12, he started touching me in all the wrong ways. And not the same trying to make everything else in my life a living hell. Friends, school, work, anything he could try to invalidate and control to his advantage, the better.
She continued, a tear rolling down her cheek as she wiped it away. I scooted closer and I gently put an arm around her shoulders. She leaned to my chest. I thought of telling her about my own experiences, but then I decided that it was her day, and the worst thing I could do was to try and make it about me.
He always told me that I wasn't enough. That I will never amount to anything in life. That everyone I hung out with only like for certain reasons and nothing else. He invalidated everything I did and took away everything I had. My friends, my brother, my sister, my phone, my computer, the prom dress I could finally afford after working overtime for a week straight. Then Finally, my will to live.
She said after pausing and taking a deep breath. I hugged her gently and reassuringly. That was cruel as fuck. There is a special place in hell for monsters like that, I said.
I jumped and asked the balcony. Asked this very house years ago. I overdosed. First, playing good my wrists. Then jump.
I sighed. And then I said, I'm so sorry you went through that, Katie. I don't know what to say. You didn't deserve it. I really wish there was something I could have done to help.
It's not your fault. And you didn't even know I existed back then.
She replied with a sad smile and continued.
You've already done so much just by being here with me in this damn basement.
Well, I'm trying, I said, returning a chuckle. I sorta know how it feels like, especially with the shitty parenting. Know why I moved into this house in the first place? I asked.
No, you never told me. Why?
She replied, looking up with bloodshot eyes from crying. I start off by saying the following thing, but first I stare off into the distance and I start to remember and relive things in my mind. And I said, well, my parents kicked me out of their house and left me homeless on the street. I had to crash at a friend's place until I bought this one, I replied, remembering the heated conversation with my father like it was yesterday.
Was it worth it?
She asked with a hopeful smile. I looked her in the eyes and pulled her closer. Damn right it was. Damn right it was, I said with the most truth and conviction of anything I have ever said before. My heart was racing. I have never been this close to Katie before. Her hair smelled like vanilla and lavender, and her skin felt warm like mine, but just slightly cooler since I had a naturally high body temperature in general. It was so damn easy to forget that she was a ghost, and not just some living, breathing girl I could have met at a party. Katie leaned forward. Her eyes were locked on mine, searching for something within. Her lips were ever so slightly parted, as if inviting me to initiate. Suddenly, I had an idea. It sounded stupid on paper, but I had the tingling feeling that it might just work. Katie, wait. When was the last time you were outside? I asked, slowly shifting away from her face.
Just before I die. 10 years ago.
Do you remember what daylight feels like? How the sun warms you up and tingles your skin just right? The lush green colors of the beautiful lawn? The cool breeze? She looked at me quizzically.
It's been a while, but yeah, kind of.
Would you like to see it again? Huh? I asked, taking her hand. She blushed and looked away.
I'd to love too, but like I literally can't leave the basement, remember?
Oh, but have you ever tried? I asked, and then shook my head. And I said, "Oh, wait. Oh, no. Sorry for such a stupid question. I'm so sorry." Her eyes met mine again and said,
Not stupid. And yes, I have buddies like something tries to stop me. I can make it past halfway up the stairs.
"Oh, I see. Well, today is your 10th anniversary. Maybe they'll give you a chance. Think about it this way. Either you try it again, fail, and are stuck here forever, or you don't try it again and are stuck here forever. Or you try it again, succeed, and you get a second chance at life." She looked at me with desperation.
I told you, Kevin. I betrayed already. Am I enough for you to be happy with visiting at night? Am I enough for you to be happy with visiting at night?
She emphasized the part, "Am I enough?" with a lot of pain. And I instantly remember the testimony about her abusive stepfather saying the exact same thing. I sighed and said, "Katie, you are way more than enough for me in every way you can be. I love you more than anyone I've ever loved in my whole life. And I want to be with you forever, but the truth is, one day my mortal human ass will get old and die. And I don't know if whoever decides this stuff will let me have the privilege of being stuck with you in the basement for all eternity." Tears welled up her eyes. She nodded, then faced the stairs, and her eyes, steel with resolve.
You're right. Let's do it. Let's do this, Kevin.
She said, tightening her grip on my hand, and said,
You and me together.
"Together," I echoed. As soon as we took the first step, a voice behind us whispered,
"You'll never be enough. You'll never be enough. You'll never be enough. You'll never be enough."
"Katie, don't look back," I warned, and we took another step. The whisper intensified, harsher and louder.
You are a failure. Michaela only hung out with you because it helped her get more attention from the football jocks.
You are a failure. Michaela only hung out with you because it helped her get more attention from the football jocks.
I saw Katie tense at this. "Katie, that's your abusive stepfather speaking, and he speaks nothing but lies," I assured her. Then we took another step.
You'll never be enough.
The whisper became a soft but realized voice.
Katie, I only care about what's best for you. I'm just trying to protect you. I'm just trying to...
Shut up!
Katie shouted, still walking alongside me on the stairs. The voice seemed to pause for a moment. Suddenly, a door rattled violently behind us, shaking with its frame. I saw that Katie was terrified, but I looked down and saw that we had passed the halfway point. "Katie, it's okay, we are more than halfway, we're almost there," I said to her. The door burst open with a splintering noise. Then, an unearthly voice roared from the open doorway.
Catherine, very Anderson, what the fuck are you doing with that guy?
Leave us the fuck alone!
Katie shouted back. Katie, he's in the past now. He has no power over you anymore, I frantically assured Katie. Dark, shadowy hands right from behind us and reach over our shoulders, but stop just short.
Anda gagal. Anda mengecewakan. Anda tidak akan pernah mengerti apa-apa. Diam dan hentikan itu. Kamu tak akan pernah berhasil. Apa sih yang kamu lakukan dengan hidupmu?
I'm scared, Kevin. I'm scared.
Katie whispered in my ear, clinging onto me tightly. Hey, don't worry, baby girl. Everything will be alright. I growled, keeping my eyes focused on the top of the stairs. The first floor, our destination. Oh, come on, what the fuck, Kevin? Baby girl? Where did that come from?
أنت فاشل. خيبت أملي. لن تصل إلى أي شيء أبدا. شيء أبدا. اصمت وتوقف عن فعل ذلك.
Suddenly, a loud boom shattered my ears, like a shotgun blast. I just felt my left shoulder jerk forward, and a sticky, wet warmth permeated my shirt.
Kevin! Are you okay?
Screamed Katie. You know, a strange phenomenon happens in high-stress situations like this. In the moment, you don't feel the pain or even the most severe injuries because of all the adrenaline rushing through your body. I'm fine. Let's just continue, I replied.
Tu es un raté. Tu es un perdant. Tu m'as déçu. Tu n'arriveras jamais à rien faire. Tais-toi et arrête. Tu n'y arriveras jamais.
We were almost at the top of the stairs now. The voices, the tones, the shadowy hands intensified 1,000-fold until we were walking through a tunnel of writhing black hands, the top of the stairs seeming to me a mile above. Suddenly, I heard the last voice I wanted to hear. My own father's.
Kevin, what the fuck are you doing with your life? You failure, you'll never make it as an entertainer. Go and get an aerospace job. Kevin, what the fuck are you doing with your life? You failure, you'll never make it as an entertainer. Go and get an aerospace job.
Infuriated, I started to turn towards the source of the voice, ready to shout back. Suddenly, a hand grabbed my face, preventing me from turning any further. I screamed and I was to slap away when I heard Katie shout over the din.
Kevin, stop! It's me! Don't look at it.
Egy tömeg vagy. Csalódást okoztál. Soha nem lesz belőled semmi. Fogd be, és hagyd abba. Soha nem fogod tudni megcsinálni. A fasz csinálsz az életeddel?
I felt so stupid. Of course, whatever shadowy entity that tried to stop Katie would also try to stop me as well, especially if I was trying to help her escape from its clutches. Thanks, Katie, I reply, looking straight forward again, and I squeeze her hand in mine. The shadows had enclosed all but a small circle at the top of the stairs. Like the portal out of hell was closing in on us, and we only had seconds to dive through. When I say jump, we jump! I shouted to Katie.
Got it!
She yelled back. The cyclone of shadowy hands was more intense than ever. They whipped and whirled around us, tugging at our clothing, while the voices grew increasingly louder and louder in our heads. Like headphones turned to max volume, they repeated sickening, cruel, abusive mantras from all around the world. I heard words from many different languages: English, Chinese, Spanish, French, and others I didn't recognize. This basement-dwelling shadowy entity represented not only Katie's parents, but the abusive parents of children from all around the world.
Shut up!
Una basura, no podría estar más decepcionado de ti. Todo lo que hagas a partir de ahora me importa un bledo. Porque tú ya no eres mi hijo.
Ianao tsy dia vendrapory, tena mandiso fanantenana, tsy mba havita ninonina mihitsy. Mangino, dajanao io, tsy ho vitanao na ovinanao ovina io, vendrapory ty ataonao fiainanao ty.
Sen bir uğursuzsan, sen bir üzgünsen, sen hiç vakit neyse beraber olmayacaksan, sus ve dayandır bunu. Sen hiç de edebilmeyeceksen, hayatınla ne etmeye çalışırsan.
Te egy csőttömeg vagy. Csalódást okoztál. Soha nem lesz belőled semmi. Fogd be, és hagyd abba. Soha nem fogod tudni megcsinálni. A fasz csinálsz az életeddel?
Tiegedestin, tiegesgin, tikurnukat gulosazja, cepe narandagoya ata, spala jaisin pabona yetuntam.
Gagal. Anda mengecewakan. Anda tidak akan pernah mengerti apa-apa. Diam dan hentikan itu. Kamu tak akan pernah berhasil. Apa sih yang kamu lakukan dengan hidupmu?
Tommy, ongkang tu, mi do buat. 很差你，都没这样笨了。我生一个叉烧好过生你啊！我后悔生下你啊！awak ni memang bangang, babi betul, kepala butuh. Hampa dengan kau. 妈的，臭鸡掰，丢你啊！丢你啊妈！死啦你！食屎啦你！妈的！
أنت فاشل. خيبت أملي. لن تصل إلى أي شيء أبدا. شيء أبدا. اصمت وتوقف عن فعل ذلك. Tu es un raté. Tu es un perdant. Tu m'as déçu. jamais à rien faire. Tais-toi et arrête. Tu n'y arriveras jamais.
Todorawi. To Beyuakeli. To Bakauchi Hitsnai. Bedango Amobostena. Hajiz Natwani Amoke. Semaflatiek Sergian Khoda Dehini.
Şehar atetikue. Şehar atetikue. Şehar atetikue. Şehar atetikue. Şehar atetikue. Imedgatrubuli khar. Imedgatrubuli khar. Imedgatrubuli khar. Damarskli. Da nar skli. Damarskli.
Δεν θα καταφέρεις ποτέ σου τίποτα. Πώς στο διάλο τα έχεις καταφέρει έτσι στη ζωή σου?
Du bist eine Enttäuschung. Du bist so ein Versager. Du bist erbärmlich. Du wirst es nie zu etwas bringen. Was zur Hölle machst du bloß mit deinem Leben?
It was at that moment that made it even more important for us to escape. If I could save Katie, then that was one, even just one life that could make a difference. One! I shouted. 2, 3, jump!
Shut up!
I don't know how long Katie and I were passed out on the ground of the first floor, just outside the basement steps. I woke up laying on top of her and quickly climbed off in embarrassment. A sharp pain pierced both of my elbows, and I looked down to see that they were scraped up from the impact with the floor. Surprisingly, there was no blood or bullet wounds in my left shoulder, where I swore I had been shot by the shadowy ghost of Katie's father.
Katie? What am I?
Said a groggy voice. I turned to look at Katie. She was partially sitting up, partially laying on her back. She looked around, taking in her new surroundings. Ow! Ow!
Ow!
Ah! She yelped as her scraped elbow touched the floor. She held it and looked with absolute disbelief and eyes wide open.
Oh,
What happened? My voice? It sounds like before, like when I was alive. I almost forgot what physical pain felt like after all these years.
She laughed nervously. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I said, if you can feel physical pain now, if you can bleed, then that means... We turned to look at each other.
I'm alive. I'm alive again. I'm a real person again.
She screamed with pure joy. Seemingly forgetting her pain, she jumped and grabbed me, and we did a little happy dance. Oh, how does it feel? I asked with a smirk as I twirled her.
It's great. I love it. It's great. I love it.
She replied, screaming with excitement. She ran around the house. Then led me outside, into the backyard. The sun had just begun to rise on the horizon, the dim but gradually growing rays of light permeating the dark gray sky. Katie lay down on the grass, facing the sky with a look of contentment and pure bliss on her face. Then, after a few moments, she sat up and turned to me.
Kevin, I really, sincerely want to thank you for helping me escape. But I don't know even where to start.
Katie, your existence has brought me life of my own. I was so lonely and unfulfilled before I met you. All my friends moved away for college. And I've been single since January. My parents kicked me out, leaving me with literally no one to call family, since I am an only child. Katie nodded with acknowledgement, and in total agreement. The first time I heard your beautiful singing voice from the basement of my new house, our house, I knew that the paranormal activity stuff I had been warned about had come true. I prepared myself to deal with the worst. I had pretty much accepted the possibility of death, or spiritual imprisonment, or something like that.
So, did you get what you expected?
Katie laughed softly. No, I said firmly, looking her in the eyes. She raised her eyebrows and asked,
Then, what did you get?
I got something way better, I replied. I got an amazing friend and companion, and someone who I could relate to so well, and someone who supported my hopes and dreams and me as a person. Thank you for being you, Katie, I added softly. She smiled. I never noticed just how perfect her teeth were now.
Thank you for being someone who appreciates me for me. Thank you for showing me how to enjoy life and have fun after a lifetime of death and abuse. Thank you for being so sincere and genuine and caring, for listening to me and understanding when I went off on rants about things in my past life. Thank you for showing me that not everyone out there is like my father, that there are people out there like you, and giving me hope for the world that I had lost all my faith in. Thank you for helping me break free of my past, both figuratively and literally.
She replied, and to that I smiled and said, You're welcome, Katie. I'm glad you got a second life, or in this case, a second chance at life, so you could enjoy these things.
And all that, thanks to you. There's something I have to show you. Something I still have to make peace with. Would you like to come with me?
She replied, after standing up. Oh, of course, Katie. Anywhere you want to go. I replied, following her.
Upstairs, it's the balcony.
She said softly.
It's where I killed myself in my last life.
I nodded grimly. On the third story, the third level, the balcony awaited us, separated from the interior by a glass sliding door. It had hardwood decking and was decorated with ornate Victorian-style outdoor furniture. A rocking bench sat along the wall, while a bistro table was accompanied by 2 chairs at the center of the floor. The wooden railing was ornately carved and polished, with little signs of weathering despite its age. Katie gripped it as she looked over the tops of the trees at the edge of the property. The edge of the rising sun was just starting to peek over the horizon.
It feels so familiar, yet so different.
She mused, running her fingers along the railing.
I remember what happened, like it was yesterday.
She turned and looked at me.
But now that you're here, Kevin, it feels like a lifetime ago. Like it was someone else entirely. Like I'm watching a version of myself from my past life. Like it's not even me anymore.
She held out her hands, and I took them gently, pulling myself closer to her. Katie, that girl is not you anymore, I started. She may have suffered, and she may have had a say in who you are today, but that girl is in the past, and you have a new life now. You are free, and she is free too. I continued, and I said, I don't know where your abusers are today, but they are not here with you anymore, and they have no more power. When your stepfather shot me in the basement, I thought for sure I was injured and going to die, and I was fully prepared for it. Yes, I was too, as long as I had the strength to make sure you got out. I rolled up my left sleeve to reveal the perfectly smooth, uninjured skin on my shoulder. Huh? Will you look at that? See? No damage. Why? Because after they left, after they weren't physically around us anymore, they had no more power, and the only damage that they left on us was inside, in our minds. Now, the damage is certainly valid and traumatic, and I don't expect that anyone is truly unscathed by it. But I guess those shadow things were just a collective physical manifestation of all the fear, pain, doubt, abuse, and suffering that we went through. All it took was a bit of support and encouragement from a like-minded person to escape. I winked. And to that, she replied,
I agree. And I'm so happy you were that person for me.
Katie replied, and I couldn't have asked for a better person as mine, I said. Then we kissed. Or more appropriately, we made out with the most damn passion I've ever seen. It was almost like a movie. One moment we were looking into each other's eyes, then, next thing, we were slowly leaning closer until our lips touched, like a butterfly landing on a flower. Upon contact, we became more aggressive with each other, pressing more firmly and moving around until our tongues were exploring each other's mouths with a newfound thirst. We remained locked in our embrace until the sun had fully risen over the horizon. But we didn't stop there. And really, who could blame us? She had been a ghost for the past 10 years, and I had been single for the past 10 months. The morning she had been revived, she was the exact same age as she was at the time of her death, 18. I was 21. We were a young, virile couple and intensely attracted to each other on every level. The usual concern of protection didn't even cross our minds. We were madly in love, and nothing could stop us. In the same week, we got married and threw a wedding on the beach just in front of the property. Our property. And you can guess who wasn't invited. Our first child, a girl we named Joy, was born 9 months after that day. These days, I try extra hard to be a good dad to my kids. I made damn sure to respect my kids' boundaries and feelings and opinions, as well as their hopes and their dreams. Because I know that they are just as much their own individuals as they are my kids. Yes, I'm using the possessive adjective. If I ever catch myself sleeping, then Katie doesn't hesitate to keep me in check, and vice versa. We had the basement filled, not wanting anyone else to deal with the nefarious shadow entity that had once tried to stop us from living together. And of course, yes, I also started a non-profit organization to help children trapped in abusive households. It provides support resources, it provides contacts, and it provides programs to help with almost anything they could deal with. Katie works with me as an equal, along with a few other like-minded parents. Yes, we got us some friends, and together we have served almost 250 individuals within the past 5 years. I have to be honest with you, I wish that number were lower. Yes, I mean, the number of abused children should be closer to 0 or 0. There is a difference between being a dad and being a father. And to be honest, I wholeheartedly encourage you to be the former.